Hey guys, MeLikeBigBoom here, bringing you guys a highly requested video of the server creation series. In the past 3 videos I showed you guys how to create a server, how to connect to it via Hamachi, LAN, and port forwarding. And now today I'm going to show you guys all the different commands you can enter into your server to customize it to your liking. I'm going to divide this video into 3 different sections: commands that you can enter into the commands.dat file, which will be automatically applied whenever you run your server, commands that you can enter into the console, and commands that you can enter into the game itself as an admin. Now technically all these commands can be entered into commands.dat or the console, but some of them are better used in certain situations, so I'm just going to show you them in these 3 different sections. Starting off with commands that you enter into commands.dat, we're going to have to, of course, open that file up in the first place. We're going to right click Unturned in the library, go to Properties, Local Files, and Browse Local Files. Then go into the Servers folder, and then navigate into your Servers folder. This is all, of course, after you've finished the how to create an Unturned 3.0 server video, which I will put on an annotation on the screen right now and in the description down below. So you're going to go in here, then go into Server, Commands, and then open this up. If it doesn't open up automatically, just right-click the commands.dat file, then click Open With, and then select Notepad or any other Notepad program that you have. I'm using Notepad++, which is a bit more coding friendly. Starting with the normal stuff that you'd enter in to make your server work in the first place, you have the name command, so you can give it a custom name like MLBB server. The map command, which allows you to set the map. Now by default it sets it to PI, but if you'd like to set it to something else, like a custom map that you've downloaded, you'd enter in that name right there. So I'll just do PI for now. There's the port. I just recommend setting that to 27015. The password, if you'd like to set it, and then you can give it a password. Now it defaults without a password, so if you don't want a password, then there's no need to enter in that command. But for me, I'm just going to do password 123. Next one is mode. Now this has been requested quite a bit. You can set this to easy, normal, or hard. And now these are how you would expect them to be. Or you can also set it to gold with its bonus experience and spawn rate, but of course only gold members can join that server. So I'm just going to set mine to gold for now. Perspective, another highly requested one. You can set this to lock your server to first person mode, lock it to third person mode, or allow your players to freely go between both of them by pressing H, or if they've remapped it to something else. I want to be able to freely swap between first and third person, so I'm going to set it to both. Next is max players. Now this allows you to set the maximum players that are allowed on your server at a given instance. If it's just like you and a friend who's playing, you can set that to 2 to make sure that nobody else is joining your server while you're playing. But you can also set it to 12 or whatever you'd like. The unturned limit, I believe, is 24. So if you set anything higher than 24, it might either give you an error saying it didn't work, or it'll just automatically default to 24. I'm just going to do 12. That works. Next, you can set your server to PvE or PvP just by simply typing in PvE or PvP. There's nothing else that you need to type. I'm going to make mine PvE, so you just type in PvE and you're done. And if you want PvP, you'd of course type in PvP. Now we're getting into the pretty nitty-gritty stuff. You can set in a timeout command that will automatically time out players who have a ping higher than what you select here. I'll just do 500. So if players have at any instance a ping higher than 500 milliseconds, it will automatically kick them for having a slow connection. This will help keep your servers filled with players who actually are able to play the game. If you're having ping higher than 500, then you're probably not going to have a very good time, especially in PvP servers. So it will just automatically kick them, and then they'll have to join a server with better ping. I think 500 is a pretty good number, but you can also do 1000 just in case they're having serious issues or something. Next is chat rate. Now this sets in seconds the time required between chat messages. So this is like to prevent spam or something. You can set it like 2 seconds or so. So that way players are only allowed to send messages 2 seconds apart from each other, so they can't just be spamming the chat. Or if you like, you can set it to 500 and be obnoxious, but whatever, anything works. Next we have cycle. Now this is pretty interesting. This allows you to set in seconds the cycle between day and night. So you can set it something quick, like 60 seconds, though that'd be kind of obnoxious, but essentially if you set it to 60, then it would have a 30-second long day and then a 30-second long night, and it would just consistently cycle through very quickly. You can also set it to something very high, like 86,400, which I think is the amount of seconds in 24 hours. So you can do that and then make it a full 24-hour day. One thing that I think Nelson should add for this command is like type in like cycle bind, and then you can bind it to your current system clock, which would be pretty cool. But anyway, you can set the cycle in seconds. I don't know what it defaults to automatically, but if you just want it normally, then just don't enter into that command. But if you want something special, like this one, let's say cycle 10-minute long day, then you can do cycle 600. Next and lastly, you can set a welcome command for players that are joining your server. So you can say, welcome to my awesome server, exclamation point. And you can also add another slash and enter in the RGB values that you want that message to appear as. So you can do 255.140.0, which I think is orange. And then whenever somebody joins your server, it will say, welcome to my awesome server. And in this instance, it will be in orange. That pretty much covers all the commands that I recommend entering into commands.dat. Just go ahead and Control S and close it, and then run your server and make sure that you didn't come across any sort of errors, which it looks like we have tons of successfully, so we are pretty good. It looks like it's set everything. Yep, good to go. And now I'm going to cover all the commands that you can enter into this console. Some of these commands pertain to players individually, so I'm going to join the server to show you those commands in a little bit better detail. And also you can see that the welcome command now popped up, welcome to my awesome server, in orange when I joined. Pretty cool. We're going to Alt-Tab out of here and open up our server little thing here. So first step, and the most highly requested one, is adminning yourself or some sort of player in the server. It really is as simple as typing admin and then a name of the player that's currently connected to the server, which in this instance is just me. So I'm going to type in MeLike. You don't need to type the full name. And it will say successfully admined my individual Steam ID. And then also if I go into the server, you can see that I am an admin now. And now I can begin to use the commands that I'll show you in the next section. But let's go over these ones first. Next is the permit command. And you can use this to individually permit players into your server. If you permit a player, it'll automatically convert your server to one that is kind of like a whitelisted system. Nobody will be able to join it except for the permitted players. So first off, you can only enter in Steam IDs. You can't enter in like the name, like MeLike. So I would have to enter in 765.611 and then type in that whole thing, and then it would permit me and only me. So only I would be able to join the server and nobody else would be able to. And then you can start permitting other players, and then you can make it kind of like a server that only you and your friends play on. But pretty complicated, I guess, but that's pretty much how it works. You type in permit space and then the Steam ID. And then also if you want to view the total list of permitted players, then type in permits, which in this instance we do not have any permitted players, so it popped up failed to find any permits. Next we have the debug command, which tells you the current state of the server. Now if you're pretty technical, I guess you could use these bytes sent and received and packets and all that stuff, but I don't think that's all that important. I think the important reason why you'd use this debug command is to find out your public IP, which is right here, and then the port that the current server is running on. So this is what you tell people. So if you're wondering, like, instead of going on ipchicken.com and stuff like that, just run your server and type in debug, and then this right here is what other players will use to connect to you. Now, of course, I've blocked mine out because this is my public IP, but that's what you would use. Very helpful command. There's also the help command, which pops up a big giant list of all the commands that you can use overall. But I'm showing you that in this video, so there's not much need for it. But you can also do help space and then a name of a certain command, like welcome, and it will tell you a short little description as to what that command does. So for the welcome command, it sets a welcome message, shows the line says to connect, blah, 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 blah. You can do that to all of them. There's also players, I misspelled that, and that will give you a total list of all the different characters that are in the game. It tells you their Steam ID, their Steam name, and their character name, very useful. I think most importantly, if you're trying to permit a player and you only know their in-game name, like MeLikeBigBoom, you can type in players and then you can find their character name and then you can learn their player ID right there. Next and lastly, we have the save command, which automatically saves the vehicle, structures, and barricades locations, and also saves the player's inventories and structure inventories. Very important. Make sure you're saving your server, just in case you accidentally click this X button when you're done playing the game. Saving the game will of course save it, so it's very important, especially if you're building something crazy, that you do not press that X button. I know it's enticing, like whenever you want to close something, you press the X button. In this instance, do not do that because it will not save your game. So make sure you're saving throughout while you're playing. You can also enter it into here by typing in @save, and it will save the game. You can see successfully saved the game. You can do that in the game as well. And then also whenever you need to close the server, type in shutdown, and that will save the game, disconnect the players, and then close the server. And it will do that all safely, and it will make sure that everything was closed successfully without any sort of issues. So that's super nice about that. I'm not going to type in shutdown because I still want to use this server, and I'll show you guys using the shutdown command within the game itself. So now we're going to go over the commands you can enter into the game.